Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. This is J.R. Moore coming to you live from deep in the mountains of the Missouri Ozarks on Tuesday, the 14th day of August, year of our Lord 2012. Welcome to the John Moore Show. Well, I'm developing a new contact. This person is at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri every day. I won't identify this person by occupation or sex, either one. But we'll do some Earth Change headlines at sandadeo.com, and then I'll get to the new information that I received yesterday from my new contact. Starting at the top here, Iran's hospital struggled to cope with earthquake victims, 3,000 plus killed, livestock wiped out, thousands injured, 1,000 plus villages affected. Going over to China, 6.2 earthquake strikes far western China. Going over to the Aleutian Islands, off the coast of Alaska, 6.2 earthquake hits Alaska's Aleutian Islands. Going down to over to California, mandatory evacuations ordered as wildfires advance toward California town. South to Louisiana, enormous 400-foot deep Louisiana sinkhole swallows 100-foot trees and raises concerns of explosions and radiation leaks. Over to the Pacific Northwest, experts say big Oregon earthquake imminent. Over back to California, more flooding could close roads in California in the Four Corners area. Going over to Long Island, rare tornado hits Long Island, New York, knocking down trees. Next, we go over to Minnesota. Waterspout reaches land to become Duluth, Minnesota's first tornado on record. I've been to Duluth, beautiful town. Across Pacific Ocean to New Zealand, torrential rain wreaks havoc in New Zealand. Forecasters have warned more coming. Next headline, strongest winds in 6 years hit Sydney, Australia. Rip off roofs and toss boats around. And we got a break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. This is J.R. Moore. It is Tuesday, the 14th of August. We do have more Earth Change headlines at standeo.com. Going over to Bangladesh, 13 dead as lightning strikes Bangladesh mosque. Next headline, climate, extreme rainfall events increasingly common. See Halley's comment below. Back over to New Zealand. Volcanic mudslides pose new risk on Mount Targario. Next headline, map highlights volcano hotspots. Then we have Pacific earthquake swarm sparked underwater volcano eruption. Going over to China. China reservoir collapses, kills at least 10 people. This one's, I don't know about this. Intense heat kills 10,000 earthworms in China. Who counted the earthworms dead? And anyway. Okay, that's Earth Change headlines at standeo.com. My new contact is at Fort Leonard Wood every day, 5 days a week. This person provides the following information. Dozens of semi-tractor trailer loads of these large plastic coffins that can hold 5 people each being delivered to Fort Leonard Wood. I don't know how many thousands of coffins that would be. I'm sure it's in the tens of thousands. My contact reports that there's a frenzied, frantic push to teach the following skills to the young soldiers at Fort Leonard Wood: carpentry, plumbing, and electrical work, electricians, to make plumbers, carpenters, and electricians out of these young soldiers. Why? Well, they know there's going to be a lot of rebuilding to be done. My contact reports awareness that the Mississippi River will soon be 50 to 100 miles wide when the Great Lakes open up and destroy all the bridges between Chicago and New Orleans. My contact is aware that the FEMA camps, which are little more than refugee camps, by the way, are built on high ground away from the flooding, soon-to-be flooded Mississippi Valley. I hope to be getting more information from my new contact. My new contact does not yet have, although I hope that my new contact soon has, a copy of my DVD, Global Warming, What the Government Isn't Telling You. I believe, and I haven't confirmed this yet, there's a cutout between me and my new contact, by the way. my new contact doesn't even know that they are my new contact. How about that? That's the best of both worlds. Anyway, what I run into a lot is that people like my new contact, they somehow, some way, either through classified briefings or by having a golf buddy or a fishing buddy that knows this information, they somehow find out what will happen, but they don't know why it will happen. Knowing why is an important part of the equation. Knowing why will allow my new contact to make more sense of all this and acquire details and be able to look for things that my new contact would not be able to do otherwise. So I hope that soon, and when I say soon, within the next few days, that my new contact does acquire my DVD, Global Warming What the Government Isn't Telling You. I asked the cutout to deliver it to the new contact, and my cutout said that he would do so. Another brick in the wall, as my friend Paul Martin would say. Paul Martin's a radio talk show host out in Colorado, and we cooperate and collaborate on a lot of different things. When I first got into talk radio, back in January, February of 1995, I never would have dreamed that in the future, being a radio talk show host would lead to the directions it's led to. It would take on a life of its own, taking up so much of my time. What was started out as a one day a week show has become 5 days a week. It now consumes about half of my workday, Monday through Friday, all the things that I'm doing related to my radio show. Plus, the fact that I've worked with radio talk show hosts all over the country now for a number of years, developing personal relationships with these men and women, has become, the radio talk show host that I work with has become a private intelligence network. It's kind of neat being a radio talk show host. You can call up almost anybody, any political person, business person, celebrity, author, and ask them, would you like to be on the radio? To promote your cause, to promote your book, to promote whatever it is you want to promote. Consequently, radio talk show hosts meet a lot of people, and we know a lot of people, and we know a lot of stuff. And if you're focused on looking for certain things as a radio talk show host, you're probably going to find them. And I've been acutely aware and acutely focused on learning about what I'm concerned about these past 12 years, since I first found out that Nibiru is a clear and present danger, is a real matter. Once I achieved that knowledge, I also decided to focus on it. The consequence of that focus has been learning what I've learned, meeting the men and women I've met, gaining access to highly classified material by debriefing the Navy veterans who were at the classified briefings going back to 1979, meeting people like Professor James McCanney, Dr. Deagle, Dr. Luigiani Zangari, the PhD scientist in Italy, my friend Ann Morrison, meeting men and women who have spent their lives diligently working on the science of some aspects of this. Men and women who have been in very sensitive parts of the government to do the things that they do and learn the things that they learn. It's been very gratifying. Very gratifying. And I will continue to do this as long as I can. We need to keep in mind that things are fast moving. Now, a month ago, Mike Harris and I, we had a show we did together, and one of our many sources gave a couple of dates, only one. It was not corroborated, August 17th to September 26th. Due to that lack of corroboration, I did not notify my daughter to fly down and to Missouri, away from the Pacific Northwest, up in Seattle. I am staying in touch with her. At least once a week or so we talk. This is a work in progress. It's a time frame, not a specific date. From what I'm seeing right now, it looks like sometime after the 1st of November is when crunch time could really happen. That's just my best guess based on the information I'm getting. That could be completely wrong. What I encourage you to do is to educate yourself on this, become aware of what the real threats are as opposed to the non-existent threats, and develop a plan for yourself. Get the skills you need to be safe. Get the supplies and equipment you need to be safe. Find a safe haven. Densely populated urban areas with no electricity, no running water, no police service, no fire service, no telephone is not a place you want to be. Trust me, you really, really don't. What an absolute stinking mess nightmare. Dangerous place to be. A densely populated urban area with no electricity, no water, no sewer service, no fire department, no paramedics, no police, no 911, no anything that we're used to having. Now, as many of you know, I've been a criminal defense investigator for 40 years. I investigated my first homicide the fall of 1973, September 1973. I became a criminal defense investigator. And within a few weeks, I was assigned a double homicide as a 25-year-old. I've sat across the interview table from men and women charged with the most vile, horrendous crimes that you can imagine. Everything up to and including cold-blooded murder. I mean, absolutely cold-blooded murder with no motivation whatsoever other than to kill somebody for the pure pleasure of doing it. In the course of some of these conversations across the interview table, I've asked some of these criminals, what would you do in the event of an earthquake or a tornado or any kind of event like that? They look me straight in the eye and say, John, we look at it as economic opportunity. It didn't miss a beat. We look at it as economic opportunity. That's my reality of dealing with the criminals for 40 years. I don't know what your reality is, but that's my reality. I know how criminals think because I've worked defending them. And in the confidence and the privacy of my relationship as their investigator, as part of the defense team, I got to have a little bit of an insight on how their little pea brains work. Here's our first break. Call-in number is 877-488-5350. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. This is J.R. Moore. It is Tuesday, the 14th of August. We have a window. 2 weeks of August, 4 weeks of September, hopefully 4 weeks of October. What is that, 10 weeks? To do what you can do. I talk to a lot of people, both in person, on telephone, internet conversations, and so forth. And the people listening to the John Moore Show run a very broad spectrum of people getting prepared, from those who just figured this out in the last few months, maybe even weeks, to those who've been at it for decades, like myself. So, given that wide spectrum of knowledge or lack of knowledge, experience or lack of experience, preparedness or lack of preparedness, you're going to be listening to me and coming from it from different aspects and different perspectives. Depending on where you are, is going to depend on a lot's going to depend on what you do the next 10 weeks. And let's look at this as a training exercise. Let's look at the next 10 weeks as a training exercise. Let's see what we can get done in terms of acquiring new skills. The skills of a ham radio operator, the skills of emergency medical treatment, possibly the skills of safely and competently using firearms. You're going to need equipment and supplies to go along with those skills. One's not much good without the other. What can you do in 10 weeks? Well, you can do a lot. If you're focused on it, if you're determined, and you're ready to do what needs to be done. You don't need to spend a whole lot of money. I know the majority of people listening to me speak have very limited financial wherewithal. And I understand that, and I appreciate that. Yeah, everyone, and I know people at both ends of the spectrum. Everybody has limitations of what they can do financially. Just work within them. That's just part of life. I'm not ashamed to get my work clothes at the local thrift store. Long sleeve, light colored cotton shirts to protect my arms from the sun when I'm working outside. I'm not going to buy new shirts for that, just to go out and use a chainsaw. Why would I do such a thing? But look at these next 10 weeks as a training opportunity to educate yourself, to acquire new skills, to get a few supplies and equipment you may not have right now. Get a good quality gravity feed water filter. I do offer Berkey water filters at my website. You cannot live without water. Pick up some extra canned goods when you go to the grocery store. If you can get freeze-dried food from Freeze Dried Guy, God bless you. Go for it. If you can't, get beans and rice. The combination beans and rice is pretty much complete nutrition except for vitamin C. It'll keep you alive. Might be boring, but having a boring diet is better than no diet at all. Bags of beans and rice are fairly cheap, all things being equal. If you have to go to the thrift store to get the things you need, go to the thrift store. You may have to go to 2 or 3 to find a pair of boots that fit you. Make sure you got some durable outdoor clothing, hats that will protect your head, and good leather work gloves for doing outdoor work. Now, men and women tend to gravitate towards 2 different areas. Men tend to gravitate towards firearms to defend the family and getting caught up in the firearms culture, which I understand that. I've been part of it all my life. Women tend to gravitate towards the more practical things of how am I going to do laundry when there's no electricity and hot and cold running water under 40 pounds pressure. We have a caller here. We have Mike in Minnesota. Are you near Duluth, Mike, by any chance?
No, I'm not. No,
okay.
I'm out in Coyote land.
All right, good.
Well, I got 3 scrub boards.
Well, that's better than no scrub boards at all, isn't it?
I'm telling you, it's just you got to think outside the box.
Right.
I had a question that's kind of concerning me. I read something on I saw shtfplan.com.
Right.
There's an article in there talking about everyone's worried about or hearing about a bank holiday, but that there could actually be a false flag event where they'll blame it on a computer virus because they've been prepping us for this for some time about the cybersecurity bill, this and that, and that they could use that as a false flag event and just basically shut down the computer systems for the entire banking industry. Maybe right. On a Friday. And then we'll be open on Monday, don't worry, but you won't be able to get into your ATM, into the bank or anything. Right. And come Monday, it'll all be over. My question is this. If they empty everything out, like this will be like the last hurrah, whatever, for them, is there going to be a complete devaluation or something of the currency when this is done? I mean, what I'm saying is, would it even make sense to put money by to pay your bills?
That's all, Mike. That's always a good idea, is to have at least one month's worth of living expenses on hand in the form of cash, just plain old 20s, 50s, and $100 bills. That's always a smart thing to do.
Because I paid our property.
Hold on, Mike. We got a break here. Everybody stay tuned. We'll be back after the break. Mike, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to wrap up your thoughts, please?
Yeah, sure. You said despite even if the bank closes up this, that, and the other, just even if there's a devaluation, let's still put something by then. 'Cause right now, what I'm doing is I already paid all of our property tax for next year. I did it like 2 months ago.
Right.
They let me do it. So I saw this coming, this and that, various things, and I'm just basically trying to get any debt whatsoever we have down to zero. So I'm working on a credit card. The property taxes are paid, and in the next 2 days the bills are all going out, and then it's just that's it.
Right. Well, that's a good plan. That's a good plan, Mike.
I don't want to walk into any of this owing so much as a dime. You know what I mean?
Good for you.
Yeah, and so,
Good for you.
but that thing with the wash and clothes thing. Check around your flea markets, this and that. Look for those old, because I don't know if they make them anymore, but the double tub washers that have drain holes in them, and one of those ringers. They still sell those ringers with the little screw thing that mounts to the washer. I got like both of those. I picked up over time.
There you go.
And
they're out there. Flea markets, eBay, thrift stores, yard sales. Yep.
Without pressure, we're going to have to wash, clothes no matter what. And one of those scrub boards, and it's hard work, but there you go. Cleanliness is like 50% of fighting off diseases, this, that, and the other. So people.
Okay, well that's good. Some good thoughts. We appreciate the call,
Thanks
Mike.
for taking my call.
And we got Mark in Philadelphia. Good morning, Mark.
Morning, John. I wish your show was on 2 hours in the morning instead of 1, but anyway, there's a few things I wanted to bring up. I just found a new program that's free. It's called Earthquake 3D. Have you heard of this?
I have not. Tell us about it.
It's basically you go to Google and then type in Earthquake 3D, and then there's a free version, and it's a three-dimensional globe, and it's got some settings. You can set the settings, and it will actually show you the earthquake activity on planet Earth as the globe rotates. And it looks like we've had a couple of earthquakes, one just north of Japan, 7.7 on the scale, and another one, and that just happened the last day, I guess, and another one, it looks like Chile, the area of Chile at 4.9. So this is a free program, and it's very, very it's very good. And I believe they have an upgraded version.
Do they archive the earthquakes also, Mark?
I'm not sure. I think you can go back in 7 days on this one, but maybe the upgraded version that you pay for, it's only $20, I guess. I just discovered this just a few minutes before I called you.
Okay. Well, it sounds like something to check out. Yeah.
It's worth checking out. The other thing I wanted to bring up that I discovered, this natural product called chia. They're calling it a superfood. It's been around for a long time. Comes from Central America. We know it from most people know it from the chia pet. Well, it's the same seeds, where you wet the seeds and then you spread it over whatever it is, like the bobblehead of some sort or whatever, and then it grows. But my understanding is, when I investigated this, it's absolutely it's got some really good qualities. The number one, my understanding is that the ancient Indians would eat this, would be part of their diet, and these are the Indians that could run 100 miles in a day and not tire. And my understanding is that it has protein, and it has packed with antioxidants. You can store it for several years without the oil in it going bad. And the other part of this that I'm finding interesting is it's got amylase in it, which actually helps in our digestive process to break down sugars in a more gradual, steady way. And so if you take this in your diet, it helps break down whatever other sugars you eat in your diet in a more gradual way, so that your sugars don't spike and your system can have.
Sounds like good stuff.
Energy.
Can you spell chia for us all here?
CHIA.
Okay, that's what I thought. Is there a website that talks about all this stuff, Mark?
Well, just Google it. There's a lot of information you can find on it.
Okay, that sounds good.
Matter of fact, Wikipedia's
well, let's check
got a
this
lot of
out.
information.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I'll talk to some nutrition people about this. I've heard about it before, and it's a good heads up.
Yeah, it really is. And what you can do is what I just did last night was you can take the chia seeds and you can mix 9 parts water to 1 part chia seed, and it gels up because they're gelatinous. It makes like they get sticky when they get wet.
Right.
And then you stir that up, and I've stored it in the fridge, and then I've used it as part of I make smoothies in the morning. Some some really healthy, and so it expands it, it extends it a ways, and I'm going to experiment and see how it is. But the athletes of today are considering it a superfood. So.
Well, it sounds good. We appreciate the heads up, Mark.
So sure thing.
Okay, thank you for the call. We appreciate it. And we've got Don in Ohio. Good morning, Don.
Good morning. You there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Strangely enough, I was calling about the EQ3D program too. If anybody's interested, it is it's at Wolton, WOLTON.net, and put that Wolton in and EQ3D. Yesterday, strangely enough, there was a 5.1 that showed up in Northern California, and it disappeared completely on it. I don't know what's up with that. The $20 version of the program is really good because, you get a really nice globe, and you can set it to update every minute if you want to and stuff like that. It's a good way to know, that if the New Madrid fault or something like that, you have a big one there or something like that, you go out and get gas right away because you're going to be the first one to know about it if you have a computer.
Right.
It does beep, you can set it up to automatically beep and stuff like that. I've had it for, a year and a half at least, and it's definitely worth the $20. You could get the free version too, but yeah, they did have a 7.7. It was in the waters off of Hokkaido. You click on a flag and stuff like that, and it'll show you right down to the square footage where it actually did and all that. Yeah.
Amazing.
Well,
we need to check that out.
Actually, it was strange that he called right before me.
How about that? Okay, thank you, Don. And we've got a regular caller here, Gail in Tennessee. Good morning, Gail.
How are you?
Good.
I wanted, on your Earth Changes updates, I wanted to go a little further with the Mississippi River. It's dried up so much that the Army Corps of Engineers is now trying to build something like a sieve because it's so dry now with the fresh water running into the ocean that salt water is backing up and trying to filter its way back up and run up the Mississippi. So they're trying to stop the salt water from coming in. And even like the American Queen steamboat that started out from Louisville, it had to dock in Mississippi in Memphis because it couldn't get to Mississippi. It's so dry down there. Other locals in the area around Mississippi are saying that it looks like a creek now. That it's not even a river.
Amazing.
So, and
Absolutely
all the barges have stopped running too. So I don't know if we really understand the implications of this because it means there is a lot of goods transported on the Mississippi River that will no longer be made accessible to people and distribution lines out from the Mississippi.
Well, the barges carry the heavy, bulky things, bulk grains, gravel, cement, rock, timber.
Yep.
That's what the barges carry usually.
Well, so then that correlates to seeing a lot of shortages at Lowe's, Home Depot, et cetera.
Well, they'll still be there, but the prices will be going up. There might be some shortages as well. We saw every time there's a major tornado or storm like Hurricane Katrina, you'll find shortages of plywood around the country and dramatically increased prices for a while until they get caught up. Well, thank you for the update, Gal. We appreciate it. And we got Brad in Las Vegas. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, sir. I'd like to ask you about deep underground military bases, and if the flyby comes, will we have access to that?
If your brother is a United States Senator, maybe.
So Dianne Feinstein lives and we turn into eights or whatever?
Well, maybe you can get Diane to adopt you as her adopted son.
Is there any way we could maybe hang out by the front door, so to speak, since we're here in Nevada, my family and I?
Well, there's going to be Marines with M4 carbines and loaded magazines that aren't going to let you through the gate. I'm not sure what the point would be of doing that. So, I think you need a better.
Find a safe haven for my family there.
Brad, you need a better plan than that. Hanging out the front gate of a military base is not going to get you anything except trouble.
Will Nellis provide power for the inhabitants around it after the disaster?
I sincerely doubt that. They may provide power to a hospital or a school or something for an emergency clinic or a shelter, but that would be about the extent of it.
So then we're basically on our own after this disaster.
You're on your own, baby. Yo-yo.
The Soviets are all out to get us.
Yo-yo. You're on your own.
What a learning curve. You're right, sir.
Yeah, we'll get busy. We don't have much time. Thanks for the call, Brad.
Thank you.
John in Austin, Texas. Good morning, John.
Morning, John. Long time no speak.
Yeah.
Been laid up this summer with a torn cartilage in my knee. And,
oh, no.
Yeah.
I know. Being a former football player, I know about knee injuries real well.
Yeah. Well, it gave me a little chance to experiment with bandaging the knee and isolating the knee through my medical kit and seeing what I could do with it. And if you have a torn cartilage in your knee, the answer is not a lot.
It takes time. There's no substitute for time. I had a dislocated left knee playing football, and I was back to full contact within 2 to 3 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, but we were all young and frisky back then.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
still pretty frisky, but I'm not that young anymore.
This is going to have to be put together. But what I'm calling about, one of the things I think that is critically important to have in your kit is night vision. And
oh, yes. There's no substitute for night. It's almost half every day is dark, and there's no substitute for night vision.
Well, you're going to have to own the night because they do. And, you can start out, you can get a little night vision binocular scope for under $200. Works limited range, but it works. And, it can also be mounted with a Weaver mount on a firearm, long gun.
Right.
And then put a 3x magnifier behind it, and it'll help you out a lot. But this night vision I think is really important because for several reasons, traveling at night and also avoiding the heat. It would be a really tough slog down here in Texas. It's been hitting close to 100 every day and high humidity and everything like that. And if you've ever tried to, SAR pack is 30 pounds and that'll beat you down over the course of the day.
Oh, yeah.
And a full pack at 80 to 90 pounds, you got to be one of them young guys or have some Sherpas with you. But, yeah, really. And last comments on the superfood. I guess my expectations aren't that high, John. Superfood to me is anything my wife makes that I don't have to.
Well, you got the right attitude. Thank you for the call, John. Don't be a stranger.
Yeah.
Tim in Illinois. Tim in Illinois. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning, John. I was listening to your other caller mention about the earthquake application. I run across a website. It's called dailygeo.com, and it's a wealth of information for real-time and archived data. I just wanted to give you a heads up on that.
We appreciate that. Thank you for the call, Tim. We got another caller on hold, and we'll be back after the break. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. This is J.R. Moore. It is Tuesday the 14th, and let's see. Who do we have here? Tim in Illinois still there? And Tom in Brooklyn. Good morning, Tom.
Hey, good morning, John. One of the fellows that called in earlier that had a washboard, I commend him. The low-tech way of keeping your clothing clean is very, very important. John, you and I both know that when you're out in the boonies, your biggest adversary is bacteria. And if you're not able to wash your clothing correctly and keep your personal hygiene at a high standard, what starts as a rash goes into an infection, and when you don't have hospital sources available.
Well, we got a rule in special forces when you're out in the bush on an A-team in an operation. The medic gets informed of everything. The smallest, the tiniest little cut, whatever it might be. The medic gets informed of everything. Nothing
That's
goes.
What we need to do. We need to stay on top of all that. Well, what I wanted to tell you guys was, if you have a small, like a small family unit or whatever, and you're still stuck in your home and you've got no power, there are hand-powered portable washing machines that are available for about $50. They do a small load. They provide two things. You can clean your clothing with them, and they make busy work for people to keep them from worrying about things.
Right.
It's a wonderful thing to have. I also suggest that people, if you're going to have any type of problem in your area and you believe that you're going to have a water situation, you have certain disinfectants and bleaches on the shelf that's very cheap right now. And I think you should have at least 10 gallons of everything, you know?
That's a good thought. We got to wrap this up and move on to our last caller here, Tom. We appreciate it.
You stay safe, brother. Bye.
Okay, here's our last caller for the day. James in Fort Worth, Texas. Good morning, James.
Yeah, good morning, John. I was just wanting to get your opinion on, I'm kind of trying to connect the dots here, and Alex Jones yesterday said that he's got sources that are saying that there's going to be a spectacular event happen around late October, November, and I'm just wondering if there's possibly any connection here, and I just wanted to hear your opinion on it.
Well, there certainly could be, and I would be the last person to say no, it's not going to happen. An event that would cause martial law to be instituted that people will respect and pay attention to is something I've been writing about and talking about since January 2006. So I think that is very possible, and we need to just be on our toes and aware and ready for anything that could happen.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I was just thinking, you know, if depending on how long this event might take place once it starts, you know, because I've read many, you know, like 40 days possibly, or, you know, a few weeks. So I was kind of trying to put the dates together if the 29th of September or the 26th of September was an actual, you know, cataclysmic date. And so that's kind of where I was going with it. But I appreciate everything you did.
Thank you for the call, James. We appreciate it. Well, we had a fast hour here, did a lot of things, and that's it for today. You all be safe out there. Buy lots and lots of ammunition while you can, along with water filters and so forth. If you're in the occupied territory, the code words for today are get a haircut at 2 p.m. Get a haircut at 2 p.m. Be safe, and God bless America.